Well, I want to thank everybody for joining today's Valhallan conference call. These executive calls and conference calls that we host are really here to provide as much information as we can. As I spend 8 to 10 hours a day talking to folks from all over the country, it really helps me form these calls to be able to help deliver better information and a better understanding of Valhallan Esports and what we do. So my name is Marty Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Growth for Valhallan Esports franchise, and I host these calls on a regular basis along with Matt Phillips, our brand president, which I'll be unmuting him and he'll be joining us in a second. But I really want to give you a good understanding of what these calls are about. So as we kind of go through the information, you know that you're able to jump in at any time and ask questions. So these calls, these executive calls, we host these to be able to just provide a better understanding of our business model and allow you to ask questions. People learn in all these different ways. Some folks don't want to jump on a call with me right away. Some folks want to go back and forth via email. Some folks want to listen to recorded calls or jump on these conference calls to listen to them before they reach out to one of myself or one of my team members. So that's what we do with these calls. This is going to be a good general information overview. You're going to get some insight on the leadership inside of Valhallan Esports because Matt Phillips, our brand president, is here. And he has a couple updates for us as well that we're going to be able to hear more about. But so what is Valhallan Esports? What do we do? And just so you're aware, this is a full question and answer session. We have about 50 folks that have registered. Not really sure how many are going to be here today, but just so you're aware, you will be able to have time to ask questions. This is not a time for you just to listen in, but at the end of this 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes tops, you'll be able to jump in with any questions. I encourage you, as we go through the information, please earmark different parts of this that you feel you want to learn more about, you want to dig more into, so you can ask questions. No question is off the table. If we can legally answer it, we will answer it for you, and we'll dive in as deep as we can as long as it's appropriate. So what is Valhallan Esports? What do we do? Why are we exploding in markets like North Carolina? I noticed that there's a few folks here from North Carolina. If you're in North Carolina, I don't know what's in the water, but obviously North Carolina is a very, very strong market for us. That's where Matt is. That's probably one reason why it's such a strong market. That's where he owns his franchise location and where he operates out of and has his office from and some of his team members. We're based out of Houston, Texas, and that's our main corporate office. And we also are exploding in Canada right now, which is really exciting. And I'm in northern Minnesota, so Canucks are like dear and near to my heart. So for some reason up in the GTA, Calgary, things are going really, really well right now and exciting. And obviously in the UK, we're just about to launch our first 2 franchisees that are going to be inside the M25. We have 2 locations that will be opening up there probably, I would say, in the next 60 to 90 days, which will obviously be out there hosting an in-person discovery day at a location so you can take a look. So really, what are we about and what's happening? Why is it so exciting? Why are we all over the news? Well, Valhallan is a very unique opportunity in terms of how we deliver our curriculum, our experience. The world of esports provides a very unique opportunity for cognitive skill development. So we've designed a full IP curriculum, 18-month-long curriculum that is all about cognitive skill development. So what does that mean? Our games in general are our vehicles, whether it's Overwatch or Valorant or Fortnite or Rocket League or Apex. Those are our vehicles. The cognitive skill development that happens inside of esports is no longer speculation or opinion. It's actually proven. Strategic planning, long-term and short-term development. When it comes to problem identification, problem solving. When it comes to soft skill development, we balance all this cognitive skill with soft skill development. So kids are on a team. They're coming into our environment. They're on a team. They have a coach. They have a jersey. They're competing on a regular basis, and they're doing the curriculum. And we can dive more into about that in a few minutes. But so there's basically 2 forms of revenue that come into our locations. We have our subscription model, right, our subscription revenue source, and then we have our single payment. Single payment, that's camps, workshops, birthday parties, parents' night out, pop-up tournaments. That's that single form of revenue. Then you have the subscription form, which is that month over month over month. This is our league play. So we run this all for you, help you organize all this. Your league play is where your kids come in, they're doing our curriculum, they're on a team, they have a coach, and they're competing on a regular basis. This is exciting because this really allows kids in all different parts of the country to be competing on a regular basis. And we've solved a lot of problems with this, because there was a lot of problems. And now that we've worked out all those bugs, obviously launched our company as a franchise offering after working out those bugs, it obviously is going to be a fantastic opportunity to be able to have our kids be a part of something that's organized and structured and clean. So, and we can talk more about that as well. And then you have all your single payment forms, those camps, those workshops, those birthday parties, the parents' night out. Those are designed to expand the bandwidth of our current kids and introduce kids into this market, into this whole experience that we provide, and show the value. We have an entire roadmap that you're going to be following for your success. So no part of this are you on your own, whether it's going to be finding a location, whether it's going to be how you pre-market, whether it's going to be setting your KPIs so you know how to perform and where to go. And we obviously have full templated business plans, Excel performas, everything for you to be able to use to work out all of the numbers to allow you to see how this can be a successful business for you. So we work with you together on that. This is not something you do by yourself. There's no part of this that you're alone. This is a full franchise system, from franchisee performance support to marketing to creative to compliance. We work with we help you with where your territories go. We have all the data. So we know exactly, and all the markets that we're in, we know exactly how far parents are going to drive for those single payment forms of revenue, and we know how far parents will drive and travel for the subscription part of the revenue. So we know all these numbers, which allow us to build your territories and be able to really guide you in the best direction for success. So that kind of is that brief, quick overview. And what we provide and what we do and what we deliver to you as a franchisee is never finished. It's complete, but never finished. We have a full team that continues, from teachers to esports pros to league management to how we view the market and the direction we're going. Being that we're not married per se to any game, and the games we see as vehicles, we're always on the hunt and searching for the best ways to deliver the best experience and to impact our communities and our kids more. And that really brings me to introducing Matt Phillips, our brand president, who is also a franchisee. So not only does he, obviously, as a leader of our Valhallan franchise brand in itself with a full team, he also owns his own location, which obviously you can ask him a lot of questions about that. We host virtual discovery days on a regular basis. These virtual discovery days are where you really get a chance to look under the hood of who we are as a franchise. So if we don't have enough time today to answer all your questions, please know that there's more opportunities to dig in and learn about who we are. So I'm now going to unmute Matt, if I'm able to find him. And I'm going to have Matt. So Matt, you're unmuted. And I well, hang on, you should be unmuted here in a second.
Yep. Here we are.
Good. You're on.
Hey, Marty.
Hey, Matt. So this is Matt Phillips. He's Valhallan's brand president, also a franchisee. So he's in the trenches, understanding what a franchisee's life is every day. And Matt doesn't like to brag about himself, but I'm going to do it for him real quick. Matt has been an executive in the franchise world for a very long time, 20 years. He actually was retired and then came out of retirement to open up his own esports franchise location, and then became the president of Valhallan. So he did a lot of research on who we are. He dug into each individual team member, the direction of our company, our ethics, our values, our mission, and he chose to come on and be our brand president. So, Matt, thanks for the time.
Yeah, absolutely, Marty. It's great to be here. I love talking esports, and I love talking franchising. So it's amazing how many guests we have today. It's exciting.
Yeah. So now we had a couple of different we have a couple of different updates. So let me dive into some of those updates in terms of kind of where we've gone. And there's a couple of questions about a presentation. This is not a presentation. This is an executive call. presentations are, they're very cookie cutter. We like to customize everything we do to who you are as an individual. So if you're looking for a presentation, you want to go down that road, please just email me and we can actually create an entire custom process for you. But today we're focused on talking about our updates, an overview of who we are as a learning channel for those who are not ready to dig real deep yet. So, but anyways, Matt, sorry there. When it comes to that update, why is this updating? Explain what it is, please, before it hits the news, I think, tomorrow, and then let's go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, press release went out this morning. So we acquired Next Up Esports, NXT UP Esports, here in the U.S. Part of the reason for the acquisition was the founder of that company, Luke Zelon, is just an absolute rock star and very connected in the esports industry. He went to Harvard University, so he's a Harvard graduate. He also played football at Harvard University and has just an incredible amount of connections within the esports world. We were also excited about Next Up because of the business that they have, and let me explain that to you. Next Up has built their business around virtual camps, summer camps, boot camps, and virtual leagues. And why this is important to us as a franchisor, we already have, a league, and we have thousands and thousands of players in our league, and we have our arenas, which we have a number of them being built. But we're very interested in the virtual space because it helps us be able to expand our brand worldwide while we were building out arenas in those locations. So let's say that you lived in Montana and we have 100 kids that are in our leagues and boot camps that are in the area that you're looking to purchase a franchise. We are then able to hand you those players as potential customers that you can market to. They can immediately come in and join a membership inside of your local arena. And so we feel like it's a great way to be able to grow the brand outside of the franchise. And then as we have franchisees that come on board in those areas, we can get them immediate customers. We also are really excited about this acquisition because of the virtual boot camp opportunities. So this will be a great revenue stream for our franchisees worldwide. We have experts, influencers, top esports players that teach classes for our players inside of our arenas. And with our virtual program, we're able to pipe that in to our arenas where you can charge, customers to be able to come in on a Saturday or a Friday evening during a parents' night out, and we can do a special boot camp class on a certain subject within esports so that your players can be able to learn from that influencer that they already really look up to. So really exciting with that as well. Some of the relationships that we wanted that Next Up Esports had is with U.S. Sports Camps. U.S. Sports Camps is the largest youth camp provider in the world, and they use Next Up Esports exclusively to provide their campers with esports camps. And so now we are taking that over, and Valhallan now will receive all of those leads for gamers that want to be able to come to summer camp. So those are leads that we will be able to pass on to our franchisees all over the world of prospective campers, because camps are such a great revenue stream for us. We typically run 9 to 10 weeks of summer camps all throughout the summertime, and they are a lot of fun and not a lot of labor. and provide great revenue. So we saw that as a big win. For our U.S.
Sorry, go ahead. Keep going. No, please keep going.
For our U.S. Franchisees, Next Up Esports has a great relationship with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, which is a huge organization. In part of our Giving Back to the Community initiative, where we already give back through charity partners, the Boys and Girls Clubs provide us a great opportunity with Title I schools and also local clubs that can come and participate in our esports arenas as well. So we're excited about that relationship. And one more that I wanted to mention, Marty, was Team Liquid, who uses Next Up Esports for providing those local outreach camps. Team Liquid is a top 5 pro esports teams in many titles across the world, so many of you are probably familiar with them, and we're looking to increase the value of that relationship with Team Liquid so that our franchisees can benefit from that as well.
And I just want to remind everybody that at the end of this, you will be able to have a chance to ask any questions you want, and you'll be unmuted, so you don't have to type them in the chat. So if it's in the chat and you don't want to be unmuted, then we'll make sure we answer those in the chat, from the chat, when we'll answer those for you. But also, please remember that you will have an opportunity to virtually raise your hand. We'll be able to unmute you. You'll be able to ask your question. And history has shown when you ask a question, it typically leads to more questions. So just as a reminder, we're going to get to all the questions at the end, and we'll be able to have you be able to ask questions directly, and we'll be able to dig in and further there. So if you really look at the acquisitions that we've made over North American Esports League, UFEA, United Federation of Esports Athletes, and now Next Up Esports, all of these are designed, and what we've done, they're very strategic to be able to drive traffic, solve problems that we have found over the last 2 years of obviously breaking down the esports business and creating a model that works. We are the only youth esports franchise in the world that has financial numbers to prove our success. So just to let that settle in for a second, we're the only esports franchise in the world that has financial numbers, financial performance numbers to share with you to show why this works and why it's successful. So, and if we can get into those numbers, I can't do that on a public call. Please understand I want to, but I can't do that in a public call because this is shared publicly. Some states like California, Maryland, they have some restrictions. So I have to do those in a private setting, but it's all on our franchise disclosure document. We can go over this, called an Item 19. And over in the UK, you have a much larger advantage because we can actually go deeper into financials in the UK because your laws are a little bit more friendly. So that makes it nice. So I got a couple of questions on through the chat, which we can talk about real quick. Unless, Matt, did you want to add anything else before we talk about any questions?
Yeah, I've got a few more announcements, Marty, but we can cover those here in a little bit.
No, please dive in. Let's go over those.
Okay, great. We do have a press release coming soon, but I did want to mention we have partnered with an exclusive esports relationship with Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks, if you're not familiar with autism, about 1 in 44 children are on the spectrum and have some form of autism, which might be social disability or learning disability. And the reason why we wanted to partner with Autism Speaks is because we have found in our arenas that it's a tremendous opportunity to help kids that might have social issues. We get them out of their bedrooms, into our arenas, playing our games, being teamed up with other teammates in games that they love to play, and it really helps our kids have common interests that they can, work through and be teammates with. So we're really excited about this relationship. For our franchise locations, we will be able to designate them an autism-friendly establishment, which gets them into the pipeline of all kinds of leads and opportunities for kids in their local area. So as Marty just said, as president of the brand, as our vice president of operations, and our other VPs, our mission really is to drive as much traffic as we possibly can for our franchisees because we want you to be successful. And so our mission is to go out there and make these key relationships that not only are good for the brand, but are going to drive players into your arenas so that you can get as many players and as many memberships as possible.
And to kind of speak to that that goes right into our messaging. So we've worked out the bugs. We know what competition and coaching, we know the result of that. It's very poor, right? That's why we changed to an education and coaching, our education and competition model. Balancing education and competition, we know for a fact that parents will pay for an enrichment program that continues to show how their son or their daughter is improving their learning capacity. Because that's really what cognitive skill development is. It's increasing the learning capacity. And it's broken down in many different little segments. And then balancing that obviously with soft skill development, handling winning or losing, handling drama, handling mistakes as a team member, working as a team together, all of those communication skills and social skills that are getting missed when you have this overcorrection in the world of esports, which is happening right now. 90% of the kids out there right now are doing some sort of gaming in esports. Well, what's the negative impact of that? Soft skill development. That's why we balanced the two with our curriculum. And then the competition. We know that kids are going to stay with us because of competitions. So by us adding all of these different platforms like UFEA, a North American Esports League, it allows us to have continued competition. Because now, instead of having to wait for your local franchisee or a franchisee in your area or in your time zone to have as much enthusiasm and as much drive as you do to get as many teams going as possible, you no longer have to wait. Because now we have a platform that allows your teams to compete with hundreds of other teams immediately. They don't have to wait. It's not just an enclosed program. We have a full vetting application process and vetting process for teams that are not a part of the Valhallan family if they want to operate and they want to compete on our North American Esports League, for example. So it solved a huge problem, and we can dive into that at another time, but it did solve a huge problem that we were facing. So when it comes to that education and competition balance, we can. There's a lot of details there. At our virtual discovery days and in-person discovery days, you have an opportunity to sit there and really dig in with all aspects of what we do. And those are usually full-day events. We have a virtual discovery day that we're hosting today that'll be about 3.5 hours. And that's focused just on Valhallan today. And it's going to be about 3.5 hours where Matt is going to be there with attendees, and it's a complete open roundtable forum where you're diving into all the best practices, what's provided, everything all the way through so that you can make the best decision for you and your family if you decide to move forward with us. And we have a nice little process that you can fit it right into. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to open it up to any questions. We have questions in the chat, which Matt and I believe both can see, and we have and we also have an opportunity for you to virtually raise your hand. And when you do that, I can unmute you, and you can ask whatever questions you want based on what you've heard today or what you haven't heard, if there's something. All questions are welcome. So don't think you can't ask a question too many times, and there's no such thing as a stupid question, so that we can go over these with you. So when it comes to I'm going to go back up some of these questions. Space needed. So Sonny's asked this question a couple of times, and it's a great question, Sonny. When it comes, and Matt, feel free to chime in anytime if you want to add something and to what when I'm answering the questions, or if you want to answer those questions yourself. So when it comes to the size of a location, Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're about 1,250 square feet. Is that about right?
That's right, Marty.
And so Matt has, how many stations do you have? How much gear in terms of stations do you have right now?
Yeah, and let me explain the reasoning behind that, because it's really purposeful, being between 1,200 and 1,800 square feet. Number one, we want this business to be very manageable for a franchisee. And what that means is that our expenses really comprise around labor, internet, electricity, and rent.
All right, you're back, Matt. Sorry about that.
Cool. Can you hear me all right?
Totally my fault. Just got into the meat of it too. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Let me repeat. So it's purposeful that our arenas are between 1,200 and 1,800 square feet. We are really designed to be an esports training arena. We are not a LAN center. We're not a 5,000 to 10,000 square foot space that's in a mall or next to a major shopping center. The reason for that is because we are a destination. We market to our customers to come to a destination. This enables our franchisees to either, build their own building, to be able to rent space that's cheaper than what you would get in Class A space. But it enables us to be able to have a business model that is very manageable for our franchisees to be able to run. So we are a membership model. It is a recurring revenue model. So for each computer, for each player, you're going to have a membership fee that you charge. And so you're going to be able to have between 5 or 6 titles. You're going to have 5 or 6 players that play on that computer each week. And so you're able to 5-6x revenue based off of each computer, each seat that your player is sitting in. We typically will have anywhere from 22 to 30 computer stations inside of our arenas, and we run 5 competitive titles, and then we run some non-competitive titles such as Minecraft. We also do classes around streaming and building your brand, being an influencer. So I was actually at the class at our arena last night. It was really, really exciting. These kids are learning video editing, and they're learning how to make themselves positively noticed out in Streamerville to be able to build their individual brand as well as building the Valhallan brand too. So it's really exciting to see what these kids are able to do.
Awesome. I'm sorry, you want to keep going? We got another question, but if you have more thoughts, please finish.
No, go ahead.
Chloe has a question, so I'm going to unmute you, Chloe. All right, Chloe, you're unmuted. Fire away. Chloe, you there? I got you unmuted, but maybe you're on mute. Oh, I hear you. Can you hear me, Chloe? Nope. All right, I'm going to put you back on mute. All right, so a couple other questions we have is investment to open. This is actually broken down. I believe it's on our website, but if it's not, I can actually give you a rough idea of the numbers and why. Inside our franchise disclosure document for the U.S. and Canada, it actually breaks it all down for you, what goes where. Now, in the U.K., it could be a little bit different. I mean, it will be a little bit different, I should say. But let's just talk about the U.S. and Canada for 1 second. The U.S. and Canada, you're looking at anywhere from $125,000 to $200,000 to open your doors for business. And that is on the lower side of franchising. That includes everything. That is your franchise fee, that is your inventory, all your gear, your pre-opening marketing dollars, your build-out expenses, your outside sign, That is even some operating expense put in there as well. So that is everything. Down deposit for insurance, down deposit typically for your leased space. That includes everything. Now, will some do it for more? Yeah, if they want to build a bigger space and have more, yep. Will some do it for less? Yep, some will do it for less. So you're going to have both sides there. That number for the U.S. and Canada represents about 80%. Now, we have obviously locations popping up all over North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, New Jersey, all over Canada, Texas, California, Reno, Nevada, Las Vegas. So that really allows you to have a good idea. These are people out there getting all these numbers, getting all these quotes, and everybody's falling in between 80% of that. Everybody I just mentioned, 80% between the U.S. and Canada are falling into that range. Some are lower, some are a little bit higher. In the U.K., you're going to be the starting is going to be pretty close to the same, around 125, but we've seen a top end of about 175. Now, we do have somebody that's going to be opening up for less because he's actually converting a space that was already an existing land center. So he's going to be in there for a little bit less, but it's also he's converting a space. So it's a little bit different of a situation. And then the other one that's opening up in the UK, that's going to be an arena. So that'll fall into that 125 to 175 in that range. Our Excel Performa that you use, that we work with you on, we have a nice Excel Performa. You can take those performance numbers and type them into there, and you really get a good look at your ROI. You get a good look at your expenses, because we can go into detail on expenses. We help you build your KPIs based on the performance that's in our item 19. You can use that to build out your KPIs so you know what you are looking to do in your pre-sale to month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, 5, and 6. Internally, our KPIs internally, our support team actually has their own KPIs on how they support you as a franchisee to get you to some of these numbers that are reported in our item 19. So you're able to see that. So not only can you see performance numbers, but our team internally uses those to be able to deliver an exceptional support for you to be able to get to that place as well, whether it be for marketing or internally. I mean, we're there obviously to walk you all through that. So let's see, we got some more questions. Frank, you're firing away, which I appreciate it. So square feet, we talked about that. Does this mean we need 60 computers? No. I mean, Matt, in your space at 1,250 square feet, how many machines do you have?
We have 28 machines.
Okay, 28 machines, and obviously, as we go down this road and you see the financial performance numbers, you're going to realize you don't need 60 or anything like that. So space-wise, we've covered all that. Just kind of going through, it looks like there was a question about whether this is some sort of an event, esports event company. We are not an esports event company. I think Matt did a really good job explaining what we do in the experience already, but if you have more questions, I did type my email into there. Obviously, you can reach out to me. When it comes to attracting coaches, Steve, great question. When it comes to going after coaches, I can let Matt kind of tackle that because he's obviously in the mix and in the fray every day. Matt, Steve's question was, how are we attracting good local coaches in the UK? Would we assist our franchisees with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have been working very hard for the last year and a half on building curriculum. We have curriculum for all of our titles and coaching guides for all of our coaches each week. So you won't have to come up with what do we train our kids on this week. All of that will be provided to you week to week. And along with that curriculum, we've also been developing our coaches training. It's designed to take a coach totally through how to train our kids in different titles and also how to deal with any conflict, how to deal with kids with special needs. All of those different kinds of things we have ready and available for you as you hire coaches. the great thing is that this is the dream job for many, high school kids or college kids, because they love esports, and there's not a lot of esports jobs out there. So we're looking for those teenagers or adults that are really interested in esports, or very good at a game or two, and then we will take them through the training to be able to make them a Valhallan certified coach.
So there's a couple questions that came up that are in the chat that I want to, and Chloe, if you want me to come back to you, just type in the chat and I'll try to unmute you. But there's a couple of questions that kind of ran into one another, and I want to make sure that you're heard correctly. When we purchased a couple of these other platforms, like, for an example, North American Esports League, at Valhallan, we compete against Valhallan teams and coached by our coaches and teams and with our franchisees, and we have North American Esports League, where outside of Valhallan can compete with our Valhallan teams through North American Esports League. North American Esports League, you have to apply and be vetted and understand our code of conduct. It is not an open platform where we let anybody who wants to be in it. They have to go through our vetting process. They have to be screened. They have to understand the rules with that. That's why we own North American Esports League. Now, we've already had some conversions for people that were out there, had teams already participating in that platform, saw Valhallan, and were like, yeah, I need to do that instead. So it's been great for us because we have now gaining franchisees from that platform. But that platform, any team that enters and the coaches that apply, they have to be vetted and screened. And this was a big problem, because when you're building a franchise and you're building a community of esports teams, you have to have the ability to have your kids compete. And if your kids cannot compete on a regular basis and have the variety of different teams and different experiences, they are going to get bored if they're only competing against themselves or just the other team that's on the other side of the city on a regular basis. So this allows way more competition, in so many different levels and so many different areas, that it really opens the door for us, and we know how to manage it. That's why we've absorbed so many great esports, like we have a vice president of leagues, for example, vice president of partnerships. These are experienced esports, you want to call professionals. So they understand all these different levels and the problems that come with it. And so that's really important for you to understand, is that we're solving a lot of problems when it comes to how our kids compete and how we manage the discords and the toxicity out there. We are teaching these kids what to accept out there in the market. How many parents are out there facing it when their kid is just hooked up to the headphones and they have no idea what's being said? So not only are we educating kids on what's appropriate, we're educating parents. There was another great question about how we measure cognitive skills and report that to parents. It's actually quite easy, because we give the parents a whole roadmap. So parents can actually see what is being done throughout the curriculum. They can't just, it's not a participation trophy. They have to accomplish steps. They have to move through the curriculum. They can't just come and show up and not have any progress. They actually have to move through the curriculum. It's 18 to 24 months. They have to show proficiency in those cognitive skills, those social skills. They cannot just maintain. They have to show that they're progressing forward. So, and we can dive into more about that, which we do at Discovery Day. It looks like there was a bunch more questions that came up. I'm just trying to get to them, so I apologize if there's a little backlog. When it comes to VR, I don't want to get into the weeds of why we use what games or what VR brings to the table. Just know that we are always looking for the best vehicle. So the vehicle has to be about curriculum. How do we deliver the curriculum? How are we delivering the experience? So whether it's VR or whether it's console, computer, PC, it comes down to how the experiences with the kids and how we're delivering the curriculum. So we're always open to ideas, and we're always open to different camps, but some of this is meant for camps. Like VR gaming is meant for a camp right now. Educational camp, entertainment camp. There's a lot we can do with VR inside of camps, but there's also a big lack in technology there that is starting to catch up, which we're ready for. But we're waiting for the right time to be sure that we're not trying to be a master of everything. We want to focus. When it comes to areas, yes, you have an exclusive area and a territory that is yours, and we actually work on that together. So as we go through, I can't give you a 50-mile radius there, Steve. I appreciate you swinging for the fences there, but I can't give you that big of a circle. But what we do is we actually go through all of that data together. So not only do I show you your territory, we work on that together, and we walk through all of that territory data together, and your radius, your actual territory is a circle, and that circle will continue to grow until it reaches the optimal number of students. We look for a minimum of 15,000 students in our age range, minimum. So depending upon your area, depending upon if is it in a dense city, is it rural, where is it next to the water? There's so many factors that come into play to determine how large that territory is. That minimum doesn't mean that's where your territory stops. Most franchises, they do a 3-mile radius and that's it, period. That's their max. It doesn't make a difference what's in that circle. That's what you get. We don't operate that way. And as we build your territory, I show you where other locations might be. Franchising is all about trust and profitability. If I stack franchises on top of you, you're not going to make money. And you're not going to trust me. If I'm not upfront with you on how our territories are made and where they can be, then you're going to call me in 5, 6. I'm not a broker. I'm not a hired gun. I'm heavily, heavily invested into this company just like Matt is. So we are here. So your experience with us right now, you can call us in 5 years. You can call us in 6 years. And when we walk you through territories, where they can be, where other ones are going to be. I've been in franchising for 20 years, and the worst thing ever is when you have a franchisee who did not know that another location might pop up there, right? So I want to eliminate that. I want you to know exactly where other locations and other territories could be. So to keep going there, but thanks for getting the joke, Steve. Is there Chloe? I'm going to give it a shot again. Let's see if your microphone works. Oh, and then we have another one too, but I'm going to go to Chloe first. Okay, Chloe, you're unmuted. Let's give her a go. Microphone issues still. Oh, swing and a miss. Sorry, Chloe. Type it in the chat if you can. Let's see. Oh, we got another question here. All right. It says, hey. I'm not sure if is that really your name. I'm sorry if it is, and I'm not making fun of it. But.
Short for Haitham. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So I have a question on the franchise fees because
okay.
Can you specify how much is the franchise fees? Because I think it would be an entry point to the loan. In Canada, when we apply for loan to support the expenses for the franchises, the banks require the franchise fees to be paid up front. So
your franchise fee, but this does not apply to the UK. So if you hear me in the UK, ignore this part. Your franchise fee is less. In the US and Canada, your franchise fee is $20,000. And I actually, since you brought up you're in Canada, I actually work with Halo Advisory. Halo Advisory is they specialize in franchising and financing and real estate, and they know all the programs inside and out and sideways that currently the Canadian government is offering. So they're a fantastic company, and I've been working with them for 6 years. So when it comes to understanding the ins and outs of financing in Canada, we're ready to go for you. And so that franchise fee up front, that's $20,000. That goes to buying your territory.
Applicable to the Canadian or 20,000 US in both cases?
It's 20,000 US.
Okay.
and that is to buy your territory and support you as a franchisee before you generate $1 of revenue. So for an example, if you bought a territory for $20,000 and you opened up 8 months later, that entire 8 months, it's not like we're ignoring you. You're being fully supported for 8 months. Before you generate $1 of revenue, you're working with our team, all of our resources, new franchisee training, everything internally to be able to get you open and obviously ready and trained in. So all of our town halls, all of our education materials is here for you to take advantage of before you even generate $1 of royalty revenue.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Can I ask about the royalty fees, or is it not the right time?
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. How much do you take as royalty, please?
6%. So we're on the lower side.
Okay, and any other fees on the recurring basis?
And this applies to U.S. and Canada. So please, if you're in the U.K., your royalty in the U.K. is still 6%, and your tech is still $250. So I guess it does apply in over there. But we have all of our tech and everything, website hosting, Office 365, all of our technology. That's $250 a month, and then we have our 6% royalty.
And the royalty
very
percent includes the marketing as well, right?
So marketing-wise, we actually do marketing in a couple different ways. If you want us to handle your marketing, obviously we're here to do that for you, and we ask you to spend 3% of your revenue on marketing locally. Now, we can take that from you and use that for you, or if you want to use that in your local community for flyers or you're going to host an event or you're going to put a banner up somewhere, obviously that 3% can be used for that. But we don't currently take that from you and spend that for you. We can do that because our digital strategies have to be in line. So all of our digital, you're going to have to use our digital pathways. You can't go off and do your own digital. Now, that doesn't include Facebook boosting. Facebook boosting is different. But what I tell everybody is if we leave you responsible for spending 3% of your revenue on marketing and you don't do it, one, we're not the marketing police, but two, I think we made the wrong decision, right? Because marketing is a key part of your business. You want to be spending money on your marketing, but we're not going to take that 3% and market to the entire country. That's not effective. We want to focus in on your market.
Right. Thank you for that. My last question, you're mentioning the UK, but are you looking to open in another market as well, other markets? And is there any prerequisites?
Always. Shoot me an email. Let's talk about it. I'm talking with people right now in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking to people in Turkey. I'm talking to some folks in Australia. People always hint about India, but there's some issues there with some IP protection laws we have to be careful of. So always open to opportunities to look at other countries. Very easy model to scale to do that.
This is exactly my question. Okay. So so
shoot me an email.
Take like a year to do the due diligence, for example, to open a market in the Middle East, for example, right?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Shoot me an email. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So what other questions we have? Okay, Chloe's question. So what is the best spec PC for Valhallan Esports? Okay, I actually have all of that. Chloe, I have all that information for you. We give you two different ways to look at your gear. We give you minimum requirements, and then we give you our recommendation. So when we look at this variance of price of 125 to, let's say in the UK, 125 to 175, the reason there's such a variance there is because we give you that minimum and what we recommend, but if you decide to go higher level than that, that's going to impact your opening expense, right? So therefore, there's that range. So we give you the flexibility, but we do have a minimum requirement on your gear, and I'm more than happy to. Once you dig in with us, we have an NDA that you sign. We obviously have a full follow-up email program that we have, virtual discovery day. So once you start getting in our system with us, we share more and more and more information with you, especially in the UK where you have more access to financial performance than we can do here in the US and Canada. We kind of reveal more and more information. Frank, when it comes to
we also have relationships with some of the top manufacturers, so we're able to provide really good discounts to our franchisees on those hardware purchases.
And just to make sure there's clarity there, what Matt just said is called a preferred vendor relationship, not a required vendor relationship. So we give it to you as an option for you to take advantage of it if you want to for those computers. So what we don't want is we don't want you buying computers through us, because if you get the blue screen of death, the last thing we want to do is be your IT support. So just as you remember that and keep that in mind. When it comes to charities within the UK, we definitely, this is why when Matt mentioned earlier with Luke and the partnerships, since he's been doing the partnerships for so long, he is taking charge and the leader of all of our partnerships. So when it comes to partnerships in every country that we're in, that's what he's focused on. A dedicated person focused on those partnerships. All partnerships need to be focused on the greater good and then driving traffic. So we're looking at, there's two. Number one is the greater good. Number two is to drive traffic. Military discount, we talked about that. Frank, we didn't talk about that much, but military discount, our franchise fee is already discounted. So it's already a better discount than a military discount would be. So that's there. Do you have any, do we have to operate a local LAN, or can we? It's not, this is an environment. This is an experience. We are in person. We are not virtual. So this is not a virtual program where this is in person. And everything we do is about in person. When you heard Matt talking about virtual, that is only to drive traffic to you. That is not for you to be hosting virtual sessions all the time, everywhere. Now, if we enter into some kind of crazy pandemic again, obviously we're ready for that. Our entire team of 50 people have faced that before in child education. So we are ready for it. If it happens again, we're prepared. We know what we can do and how to make it successful, mind you. We lived through it. Obviously, with 400 locations at our last brand, we know exactly how to make that a fun experience as best we can if we end up facing that again. So, well, if there's no more questions, okay, you said, yes, I mean cloud sessions that can scale up. Steve, I think what we should probably do is get on the call together and go after that together, because I think the more and more questions will come from that, and I want to give you 100% clarity and everything. So I would say that, Frank, I don't know what that question means. Are you talking about VDI? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. If you want to dive in, virtual desktops. Man, all this lingo that I'm learning. I think, Frank, we're coming up on that hour, so I would love to dive in with you as well. So, and we can get Matt on the call with us so that, if we have another call to follow up and answer questions, I can always pull Matt into those questions and people from our tech team. So, there's total clarity there on everything. So, what I would say now is if you have more questions, instead of hardware, use cloud computing. I would say let's dive in. I'm trying to interpret the questions based on what I said 15 minutes ago, and I apologize that I can't bring it in. We are Azure based on all of our internal stuff, so just as a heads up, we're very deep in bed with Microsoft and use them quite a bit. So let's say this. I typed my email address into the chat, and you also can do matt.phillips@valhallan.com. And you can reach out to him or myself. If it's questions that are more meant for me, Matt's just going to kind of forward you over to me. If it's questions that are meant for Matt, I'm going to push you over to Matt. So we work obviously very well as a team. And mind you, Matt's been through the process that you're going through right now. So what you're doing right now, Matt went through that entire process. So he's very well aware of what you're going through and the thoughts that you have in terms of really evaluating a quality esports program. So feel free to send me any questions, or Matt, any questions. These sessions are recorded, and we'll continue to record them and host them on our YouTube channel. If you want to learn about Virtual Discovery Day, you want to learn about In-Person Discovery Day, you want to know more about when we're going to be in the UK, the locations we're opening, our partnerships, this is where you stay connected with us, and let's dive in together. So, Matt, any last words?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to learn more about Valhallan Esports. We're really excited about what we're building. We feel like we're on the forefront of the esports industry when it comes to youth esports. And so we're looking for the right candidates to join us so that we can all drive this business together. Thank you.
Steve, I said 15,000 students. So just have a heads up. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Thanks, Steve, Frank, everybody for all your questions. Really do appreciate it. Chloe, sorry I couldn't hear you. I would love to dive into more of your questions. Feel free to reach out anytime. Thanks, everybody, for your time. And this will be recorded and hosted on our YouTube channel for you to go back through and listen to. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.